Welcome to One Girl in All the World, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
I'm Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube and Instagram, with new episodes on Tuesdays. Okay, so this is the first two-parter we've had since Welcome to the Hellmouth and the Harvest.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
So we have another two-parter in this season, but they're obviously like important episodes, like two-parters.
Yes, there was a lot in this episode.
Mm-hmm. And I loved your text that you sent me last night when you watched it.
Oh my god, what?
What? It is a great cliffhanger.
I think I yelled at the TV and Kartik ran down and he's like, "What? Is everything okay?"
No, everything's not okay. The rules of the universe have been topsy-turvied for me. Like I thought I understood things and
now I do not.
Now what is going on? No, the way I live my life now has completely been jeopardized. So no, it's not okay. There's a handful of really good like cliffhanger episodes, and this is one of them where you're just like, excuse me.
Very interesting. Yeah, I didn't think that was allowed what happened in this episode. So yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's get into it.
Okay. So What's My Line Part 1, his original air date was November 17th, 1997, written by Howard Gordon and Marty Noxon. So yes, first appearance of Marty Noxon. She is so important to the series. She writes some of my favorite episodes. She's becomes extremely important in the making of Buffy, from here on out. So this is her first appearance. And directed by David Solomon. The synopsis, part 1 of a 2-part episode, Buffy and Angel finally go out on their first date.
Did they go debatable.
On a date? Angel sets out.
It was like a solo date to me.
Yeah, and they haven't anyway. I guess we can debate this. Angel sets out to hunt down his rival Spike. However, unbeknownst to Angel, Spike and his new recruits are determined to capture him in hopes of helping the frail Drusilla, and Buffy encounters her new ally, Kendra. So I think this is going to probably be the same synopsis for next week too. I'm guessing because it's vague enough where it could cover both episodes, I guess. Because that second part about Angel isn't in this episode.
What was the second part? What did you say the second part?
Well, if you didn't listen, that's good.
I was listening. Then.
No, I mean, it's good. And then it won't spoil something for you. So we just won't
internalize it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. No, it's good because I read it and I was like, that kind of is a spoiler.
New ally, I heard date. I guess I just was stuck going back to that date thing.
No, good. I'm good. That's good. I read it. I should probably read these beforehand because that was a little bit spoilery for the 2-parter.
Okay.
I believe. Well, we'll get there. I don't think that part of it is revealed until the next episode.
All right.
But, okay. So, What's My Line? Part 1. So we started out with a previously on, and it's just reminding us about Drew and Angel's relationship to Drew, that Spike had the book stolen from Giles. We really don't know much about it yet, and how upset Giles was about it.
And I'd kind of forgot about that, actually, because that happened a little while ago.
Yeah, right? Lie to me. And Lie to Me. So, yeah, 2 episodes ago.
2 episodes ago. Oh, okay, I guess that's not
episode before last.
Okay, that's not that long.
But a lot happens in every episode, right? So it's you need to be reminded.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And that now Spike has the book, and he's saying it would be helpful. So that's one of the pieces that we build on for this episode. So we open up in the hallway, and we see that it's the career fair week.
Career fair.
Yeah, so we're figuring out, air quotes, helping the students figure out, possible career paths.
I like how they take it so seriously. This one multiple choice test is going to set you for life. This is it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Xander, Willow, and Buffy are taking the career test, an career aptitude test. And they're kind of just there was a question about do you like shrubbery?
Yeah,
and they're debating the merits of saying no or yes to the shrubbery.
They're like, is this what is the correct answer to this?
Mm-hmm. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to come down on the positive side of shrubs. So they're they're really thinking about these answers. And Courtney comes over and she's all excited about this, that she's going to fill this out. Her and Xander squabble a bit, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And
yeah, she tells him that I think Willow and Xander. Willow was saying you would always be young, and Xander says something like, well, always be dumb.
Yeah, he's like, always, why do I want to know this? I want to be young and dumb. And she's like, we want to be young, but I'll always be dumb, I think is what Xander says.
Exactly.
True. Xander.
And then Cordy's going on about how she's ready to help people.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, Cordy, people that are that she's always willing to help the beautiful and the rich, or something like that. And she's like, well, that excludes you twice.
That was pretty good.
These
answer.
two.
Yeah.
These two, and
they're witty.
Their squabbling is great. Who else is like, this was like kind of like similar to like Giles and Jenny in the beginning, like their little squabbling together. Theirs is like Xander and Cordy's is much harsher, but I kind of like
mean.
the
They're mean to each
banter.
other.
They're mean, but like in the beginning, it like gave that like Giles and Jenny's kind of clashing a bit in the beginning gave me a little bit of this.
Yeah. I have a question. Did you take these career tests in school?
We did.
What did yours?
I honestly don't remember.
You don't remember, really? Oh,
I don't remember what it said.
Okay.
I wish I knew. That would be
took
interesting.
them. Mine was either like principal, teacher, or like guidance counselor.
So like all in a school. You were never going to get out of school.
Yep.
You were locked in school forever. Yeah, I wish I did remember. We definitely took them. And it gave you like, it didn't tell you like an exact job. Well, that's not true. It had like I remember the results. I don't remember what mine were. But it was like education. And then it had like all, like if you're like yours would have been like education. And then it would have give all examples of like what you could do in that. And it was like a chart, but I don't remember where I fell.
No, ours was like it like listed 3 things that you would be most apt to do, I guess. And
yeah, I wish I
mine were all
knew.
basically the same.
That would have been interesting, but I don't remember, unfortunately. Yeah, but we did take those. And Buffy is kind of bummed because this is really showing her how little she thinks her future offers her.
And like I was trying to think about that because like what job could she have where she could work full time, I guess, or even part time, I don't know, and like still do what she does. Like sometimes have to drop everything in a moment's notice and just, that kind of is gonna narrow things a lot. And she really feels like she won't be able to have a career, which, I mean, how else is she gonna support herself though? How's she gonna make money? How's she gonna, pay for stuff? And
also, like, if she's working from 9 to 5, somehow can manage that. Like, she's up all night a lot. Because, like, obviously, like, the bad stuff usually happens at night. Some of it happens during the day.
I guess she's doing that with school right now, though, right? I mean,
true.
Yeah, okay, so if she's managing to do school almost full time, then she should be able to manage.
I mean, but she is, like, running out of there a lot. She gets in trouble, so she would get fired.
Yeah,
she's already been, like, gotten, threatened to be expelled.
She needs one of those cushy work from home jobs.
Yeah, where she can just drop in.
With flexible hours.
Yeah. So Buffy is bummed because she's like, what's the point in this? We all know, like, my gig is going to be for the rest of my life, and I really can't do anything else. Nothing steady. So Willow's like, why are you even doing this? And she says it's the wheel that she has to, or the hoop she has to jump through of the week for Snyder.
Oh, yeah, right.
She has to, participate because Snyder's breathing down her neck about it.
Which is so silly.
Yeah, maybe it, like, looks good as many students, like, participate in it. I don't think it's mandatory. Okay. So I think it probably looks good to whoever, the school district, if like as many kids participate as possible. So maybe that's why he wants her to get involved. Yeah, so she's bummed and she's like cranky. She kind of snaps at Willow.
Yeah, she's like this whole episode, she's irritable.
Yeah, she is irritable. In the factory, Drew is looking at some tarot cards. And Spike and a smart-looking vampire named Dalton are trying to decipher Giles's book.
But it's like not in a language that they can understand.
He's like, it looks like Latin, but it's not Latin.
Not. Yeah.
But it's not Latin.
And then this part was interesting to me. They're talking about it's supposed to be like a manuscript that's supposed to cure Drusilla because they're running out of time. I didn't realize, like, I know she's loopy, but I didn't realize she was actually like sick.
Yeah, so the mob in Prague, like, weakened her, like, being attacked by them. And that's why they came to Sunnydale. So she was crazy before, but physically, she's
physically weak.
Physically weak. She's always been crazy since before she was turned. So yeah, it's just like physically she's weak, and you see that, and we really see it in this scene because she's like fragile, like kind of like folding over on herself, and like she has bruises all over her arms.
Yeah.
But yeah, she tries to get Spike's attention. He snaps at her that he's trying to work. We do see him get frustrated with her a lot. But he also, at the same time, many times is very patient with her whenever we, like, he has his line with Drusilla where he does get frustrated with her.
Definitely.
Then he comes over and he's very apologetic and just says that he's frustrated that they're not having any luck with the book. And essentially, she says that they won't have any luck with the book because they don't have the key. Mm-hmm. And there's something in her tarot cards that she saw that they need something to decipher the book. And we go to the credits, and then we're in the graveyard, and Buffy is patrolling. Mm-hmm. And she goes up to a mausoleum where she hears some ruckus, and we see Dalton kind of like breaking into like the side of the inside wall of the mausoleum,
like chiseling,
chiseling away at something. And so Buffy just like backs out and waits for him to come out, and she does confront him. And when there's another vampire that's with him, we don't see him initially. So while Buffy is distracted fighting that vampire,
he sneaks up on her,
and she's distracted fighting him. She ends up staking him, but Dalton has run off with whatever he was messing with. Yeah, so he got away with whatever he was trying to get from the mausoleum. Mm-hmm. In Buffy's room, I'm sure you love this scene. Angel's waiting for Buffy, and she sees him, and he doesn't notice her at first. She drops her bag, and she startles him.
And he's holding her teddy bear.
Her pig.
Oh, a teddy pig.
And this is where we officially stuffed pig. This is where you officially meet Mr. Gordo. He's been on her bed a few times in the background, but that's her teddy bear, essentially. But it's a pig named Mr. Gordo. So she says, "Oh, you just coming by for some quality time with Mr. Gordo?" So that's her little security toy. Like we all have. I mean, I do. I still have my teddy bear from when I was 6 months old. Do you?
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything anymore.
I should have brought him on.
That's cute. Yeah.
He has like a raised tan. He's a Gerber baby bear, teddy bear. So if anybody's interested, you can Google Gerber baby teddy bears, and there's they have a couple different shades. But mine was a beige, and he has a red bow tie.
That's cute.
Yeah, so had to been sewed on over the years as I would pull it off and everything. So yeah, I got it when I was 6 months old. So I still have my teddy, not as coolly named as Mr. Gordo, because I was little, right? I was way smaller. I couldn't even talk. So Teddy it was. Angel comes over because he had a bad feeling, and Buffy's already in a bad mood.
Yep. She's big surprise. You always come with bad news.
Yeah, so this doesn't help her mood.
Yeah. But it's not his fault.
Yeah, it's not his fault. She's annoyed because he's like, okay, you just come with dire news is all you ever really come around with. Mm-hmm. We also find out that Joyce is gone, art buying. So the house is empty, and she just came in through the window because of habit. Yeah, that was Angel funny. Does say, why did you come through the window?
So she admits that she's bummed about the career week. She just wants a normal life.
And I like when when Angel says, oh, it's career week at school. She's like, how'd you know about that? He says, I lurk. Yep. So yeah, she just says she kind of just talks about what she talked about with Willow and Xander, that she's never going to have a normal life, and it really gets to her sometimes.
Yeah, she doesn't really want to be a slayer sometimes. I think most of the time she takes it in stride. But there are times where she's like, this sucks and I don't want to do it. And he kind of not takes offense, but he's kind of like, oh, so then you wouldn't have met me, or you wouldn't be with me, or whatever. Mm-hmm. I like how she says the one freaky thing in my freaky world, or he's the one freaky thing in her freaky world. That makes sense.
That still makes sense. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, because she said, I wish my life would just be like it was before. Yeah. And he says before me.
Yes.
And she reassures him. And then he sees a picture of her on her, I don't know, dresser maybe? Or whatever. Yeah. Her dresser, and it's her ice skating when she was a little girl. So that was the answer. You eventually got there. Yeah, she's obsessed with ice skating, especially when she was younger.
Would you say Dorothy Hamill? Is that who she said?
Dorothy Hamill, who she idolized as a kid.
I don't remember that figure skater. Do you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she won. I wrote it down. I didn't know this off the top of my head, but I know who Dorothy Hamill is. She won the 1976 gold at the Olympics. Okay, so she was big time. My favorite figure skate. It's a different kind of time. 76, I wasn't even born. I wasn't born for 10 more years. So, my kind of figure skaters that I really liked are, Evan Lysacek and, Christy Yamaguchi. And them, I like those are the kind of, skaters that I when I was growing up, that they were really popular. Yeah, she talks about how ice skating was an escape when she was younger because her parents were fighting all the time. And Angel asks, when was the last time you ice skating? She says, a couple hundred demons ago.
Yeah, that was cute.
So, obviously, this hobby that she loved and something that she loved doing is fallen off the wagon big time because she's got bigger her priorities have completely changed. She doesn't have free time anymore and all this. So he suggests that he knows a ice rink that is closed on Tuesdays and thinks they should go, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, that was cute. That was a cute gesture.
Yeah, he's something that's important to her and that she hasn't done for a long time, and it's time for them to spend together. So, good date idea, Angel.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, he did good on that one. In the quad, Xander and Cordelia are looking at the results of the career test, and Cordelia said that it suggests to her that she will either be could be a personal shopper or a motivational speaker.
I mean, honestly, I think those are actually good choices for her. I think she would be really good at either of those.
Yeah, I mean, even though her real name is like Charisma, she's very charismatic, her character. And she sees Xander's, but she doesn't tell him. She just laughs and walks away. So he's like frantically looking through, like, what did she see? Like, what did it say? But we don't know just yet. So Xander meets up with Willow and Buffy and reveals that his chosen profession is prison guard.
I mean, it's actually a decent job, though.
Sure, but I don't think anyone is like a teenager or younger being like, when I grow up, I want to be a prison guard. Even if it is a good job. Like, there are a lot of good jobs that people don't dream about having.
I guess that's true. Okay, that's fair.
Like a garbage man. Like, that's a good paying job.
That is, actually, yeah.
It's a good job to have, but nobody dreams that they're going to be, like, in waste management.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what would I want to grow up? So I think that's, like, why he's, like, really disappointed.
I thought Buffy's was pretty spot on, actually. I thought that would be the perfect job for her. She didn't like that answer, though.
No, so Buffy's was law enforcement.
Yeah.
So a cop, which does make sense.
She would be such a good cop.
It makes sense.
Oh, and then, like, when they're making fun of it, they're like, but donuts.
Yeah, she's like, the polyester uniforms and donuts, and they're trying to, like,
hype it up a bit.
Hype it up a bit for her with the donuts, but it's not working. And she has to go meet Giles. So Willow asks Xander, well, what did mine say? And he's like, your name wasn't there. And she's,
this was interesting.
But I filled it out with a number 2 pencil. Like, I followed all the rules. I did everything right. And he's like, sorry, your name wasn't there. So she's like perplexed on why her name wasn't there. In the library, Giles is indexing the Watcher diaries, which is something I feel like he would have, well, not maybe indexing, but like reading all the Watcher diaries, which is something I feel like he should have been required to do. And in theory, he probably would have been required to do in training before ever becoming an actual Watcher, being assigned to a Slayer. Yeah. And that's kind of like going forward with hindsight. That is kind of how it's like perceived later on. This is why I was so annoyed with like him not knowing who Spike was, him not knowing who Angelus was, because it doesn't make sense that he wouldn't know who they were. So now Giles is behind. There's more than. Oh, okay, I want to like back up what I'm saying with like all these like points, but some of them are spoilers, so I can't really say. But yeah, Giles should have known. But for some reason, he's only now reading the Watcher's diaries from the past Watchers.
Okay.
So he says, quote, my favorite quote, "You'd be amazed at how numbingly pompous and long-winded some of these Watchers were." And Buffy says, "Color me stunned."
Yeah, that was really cute.
He's like, "Can you believe this? God, these guys were so like white bread and dry." She's like, "Yeah, never would have imagined that,
Weird.
Giles." Yeah. Even for Giles, these guys were like, you know, we were long-winded. And she says something about, I remember how it comes up as something about the whole 9 yards. And she's like, where does that even come from? And I looked it up. And like, apparently linguists cannot come to an agreement on where that came from.
Really?
Yeah, they can't come to a unanimous agreement on where that saying came from. Because I was like, oh, I'll like look it up. Because Buffy asked the question and I can say it on the podcast. But there's a few, like when it first showed up, like in different, it's just all over the place. So yeah, interesting that we don't really have a concrete answer on that. Yeah. Buffy tells Giles about Dalton. She doesn't know who it is, but the vampire Dalton stealing from the mausoleum. And he's annoyed that she didn't pay more attention.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I was like busy being attacked. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
She's really annoyed. Still annoyed. She's annoyed this whole episode. And she's like, yeah, I didn't know. No, if you don't like how I'm doing my job, then why don't you get somebody else? Oh, wait, you can't.
Yikes.
She's like, I might as well be dead. I can't do anything, but my hair and my fingernails continue to grow. What's the difference? Like, she's very down on her life right now.
Mhm.
She's really feeling
She has these ups and downs.
She's really feeling, especially like, I think when you said she usually, I can't remember the phrase you used, but it was good. It was like, takes it in stride being
Mhm.
a Slayer. And I think right now it's okay for her because she's in school, but like, she can accept it a little bit better. But like when she looks out into the future, which is what this whole career fair is about, it's like there's nothing to look forward to
Yeah, I mean,
in her mind.
yeah, like it's
This
gonna
is
take
it.
over her life,
This
basically.
is it for
Like
the
it's
rest of
gonna
her
be hard
life.
for her to get close to people, to have friends. She can't really
Yeah.
talk to people about it.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's gonna make her life difficult.
So I think her looking beyond high school is really a downer on her right now. She is not looking, that's when people think about that, they're usually excited.
Yeah. Future's exciting.
Hopes and dreams that they have, and
Possibilities.
she feels like she can't even have those hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
If she even makes it past high school,
Right. Right. Yeah.
if she even makes it that far. So yeah, she is very annoyed and says that she might as well be dead. And Giles isn't really.
He's not great.
He's kind of just. Can we just focus on what was stolen? We need to know what was stolen, like instead of just like
trying to empathize.
He needs to be there for her emotionally as well as like, we've seen this. He struggles with that part at this point. He's getting better. He's getting better with it. But yeah, at this point, he's just like annoyed and wants to like focus on the research of whatever that vampire stole from the crypt. At the factory, Spike shows Drew a golden cross. So we're assuming that's what was taken from the mausoleum.
And she says she can hear it?
Yeah. Hear it hum or something like that. Okay. And she confirms that it's the key that they need for the book.
Okay.
And Dalton says, the Slayer showed up. She almost ruined it. She's a problem. And Spike's like, you think? You think? He gets really annoyed that she's always showing up. I mean, this is the song Spike sings for a long time. Like, goddamn that Slayer. She's always in my, like, always ruining everything for me. Like,
she's a thorn in my side.
He's like, says this almost exact little speech many times. Mm-hmm. He just gets so frustrated that she's around.
He says they need to bring in the big guns.
The big guns. And the big guns are the Order of Taraka, and they're bounty hunters. And even Dalton says, I think that's overkill. He's surprised that he would go to those lengths to get rid of her. So that's kind of shows about how serious it's supposed to be.
She sees them coming, so...
Yeah, she turns over her tarot cards and kind of like reads that the three of them will come or something like that. Yeah. In the hallway, Willow and Xander are walking through like the actual career day. So basically how their kind of festival or week works. They take the tests, they see what they are, whatever field they should go into. And then those people come to the school and do like a seminar. So whatever you were assigned to, you have to go to that seminar and like learn about that job or that field. Mm-hmm. So Xander has to go to the like prison card field seminar, and they were looking for Buffy, or Willow is at least. Willow doesn't know.
Principal Snyder was looking for Buffy, right?
Yeah, Willow says she's looking for Buffy first, and because she's not like she doesn't have any reason to be there because she doesn't know what the heck like her purpose is supposed to be. So they know she's not there, or they don't think she's there. And Principal Snyder comes up looking for Buffy because he's like,
they're trying to cover for her.
Participate. And they're like, oh, don't say you just saw her. And they're like, but we did just see her. And Xander and Snyder kind of have a go at each other a little bit, as much as Xander can to the principal.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, but you're a tiny man. I mean, you're not a tiny man. Like you're like. And Snyder is unimpressed. He's just like, you're an idiot. And takes off. And then Xander has to go to his seminar, so Willow's just kind of standing around. And we see these like two guys come up to her.
In suits.
I was like, oh my gosh. Are these the guys from the FBI that came for Marcy? That's what it kind of felt like. They're like, please come with us. And she's like, okay.
Like, exactly.
She's in the school with like a bunch of people, so I guess it's not that like dangerous, but
also Willow is very like, they look like, they're in charge. So she's like, okay, yep. Mm-hmm.
She's been led places before. I mean, hopefully she's learned a lesson a little bit. Remember when she was led into the crypt?
Oh, yeah.
Right in the beginning in the harvest, maybe?
Yeah.
They were going for ice cream, and then they ended up in a mausoleum. So, yeah, she gets, like, taken to... They kind of have, like a curtained off, curtain. Yeah, like a curtained off area of like
you can hear classical music playing.
I think it's actually the little lounge area. I think they put like a curtain up, and so that little lounge area is separated.
And there's little appetizers
for this company. Yeah. So she wants to know like what's going on, and they said that she has been noted for a software development company. And that their CEO is like delayed in Seattle at SeaTac, but he's going to be flying out there to talk to her.
That's pretty cool.
And that's why I wasn't listed on the career thing. And they said, doesn't matter. We've been watching you for a while. So they've been like looking to like recruit her.
Interesting.
And headhunt her for a long time.
And they said there's only one other person that met the same criteria.
And look who it is. It's Oz. Is sitting behind her. She sits down and he double takes. Yeah. He double takes. He's like, this is her. Finally, like I have her here in a spot where I can talk to her. She's not running off.
And then we don't see him for the whole rest of the episode. Such a tease.
At least we know that they've like met each other now, like officially.
Fine.
So he's like, yes. And he offers her some canapé.
I don't know. Yeah, something.
Is that what you said? Yeah, so he gives her some hors d'oeuvres. Okay, in the graveyard, it's daytime, but Giles and Buffy go into the graveyard, and Buffy's just like charging ahead. She's like, let's go, fine. Like still super, super annoyed.
Yep.
And Giles is like running behind her all out of breath. And he's like, you're being very immature. She's like, yes, I'm a teen. We haven't matured yet. Like that's how I'm supposed to be. Very annoyed. And he says, I don't know why you think that, you should be able to like have some kind of employment. Like we'll figure it out. Like you could
have another job.
You work something out.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, have you ever considered law enforcement?
Wrong thing to say, Giles. Wrong thing to say. The look she gives him, and she just kind of gestures like, keep going. Like, I'm mad. Keep going. And she's like, for you, he's like, I did it. She's like, yeah, but you and your two jobs like go seamlessly together. Like, I'm not gonna be able to find that. Yeah. Like, Watcher and Librarian go together very well.
Yeah, exactly.
So they get to the mausoleum, and Giles sees that obviously it's been broken into and stuff is missing, and that it says that it's Dulac. Dulac, the name, is on the mausoleum, and he knows about this mausoleum already, and it was Joseph Dulac was buried there. He was excommunicated from the church, and then like kind of like excommunicated to Sunnydale apparently. So this is where he like passed away, and this is where he's buried.
And he had like rituals and spells written in a language that other people couldn't understand, like on purpose. So
he had a book buried with him. I mean, sorry, the stolen book that Giles had stolen was written by him.
Right.
And so Giles is like, I don't really like this. Yeah. The vampire took the book that was written by this guy. Now they're in that guy's mausoleum stealing something.
Right.
The book can't be really read. So what are they in here doing?
He's connecting the dots. Mm-hmm. And he's like, maybe they figured out how to read the book.
Yeah, which I don't want. Yep. At the bus station, basically a scary guy gets off the bus with like a really like scarred eye. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looks crazy. At Buffy's house, a creepy makeup salesman is walking down the sidewalk, passes Buffy's house, goes to the next door neighbor's house, knocks on the door. The lady answers it and says like, "Oh, I'm just giving away from some free samples. I work for like Blush Cosmetics or something." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Oh, well, they're free." That's the word. That's the get into anybody's house. You say something, you're giving away something for free. They'll let you in, and she does. And he goes into the house.
Scream.
And you hear her scream, and that kind of cuts into an airplane flying over. Someone in the ground crew is going into the hold of a plane,
the cargo,
the cargo hold, and is all kind of disheveled, and he like sees like a shadow, and he's like, "Oh, someone's in here."
Something looks weird,
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, you're not supposed to be in here," and then he's attacked and knocked unconscious by this girl, this young woman, and she just hops out of the hold and takes off. So she was down there hiding.
For me, watching this episode, at this point, they talked about the bounty hunters, the Order of Taraka, and they talked about 3 bounty hunters. So, I mean, we see the creepy dude getting off the bus, we see the weird guy with the briefcase with the beauty samples, and then we see her. So, my obvious thought was that they are the 3 bounty hunters.
Yes, that is where you were supposed to be going. So you're taking the bait. You're taking the bait. Yep. It's all right. You were supposed to. In the library, Giles finds out that probably what was taken was the Dulac cross.
Yep.
He had multiple of them, which was basically a decoder key to his books.
But he were all destroyed.
Yeah, he destroyed all of them, but one that was buried with him. Mm-hmm. Oops.
Because it was like it helps decipher hidden meanings.
Yeah.
And
so
this is my favorite line. Buffy's like, so you're saying these vampires went to all this hassle for your basic decoder ring?
yeah, he's like, essentially, yes. So they actually don't know what was in the book because they couldn't read it.
Yeah,
so they really
exactly.
need to find out what was in the book or what potential does the book have. And Buffy says, you know what, you guys,
Do your research.
you do your research.
This is your strong part. This is not my strong
She
part.
says, I just show up and punch things, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take off, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. Where is she going to go? I don't know. So we're
gonna go skate.
We're going to go to the ice rink, and Buffy is skating. And a fun fact about this is that's all Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I was gonna ask about that because like sometimes they were close up and I could see she was honestly actually
her,
skating,
yeah.
and I was like, okay, but then sometimes they panned out and I'm like, is that how? So she's actually a good skater.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
That's
she's a better
very
skater than me.
Better skater than most people.
Yeah, I can ice skate, but I can't like figure skate.
I can't.
I wish
even
I
ice
could.
skate, so I'll give her that much. Yeah.
I haven't been. Well, put me on one today. Would see. It's been a long time since I've ice skated, but I love ice skating. So she's skating, and it's a very nice like relaxing moment for her.
Yeah,
like she's
needs
really
this.
enjoying it. Yeah, she's got some her time. She's waiting for Angel to show up.
And she gets attacked by.
And let me tell you, this was a missed opportunity to see Angel try to ice skate. Oh well, what we
That
didn't
would've
get
been
from this
funny.
episode,
Yeah,
it would have been because I
okay.
feel he would have been like whoa, 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 like on a banana peel, whoa, 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 like it fell on his ass.
What if he skated really well, Ashley?
I would give him props. I just think it's unlikely.
He'd be like me.
I wanted to like.
That's
I
how
think
I
it
would
would have
say
been really cute to have a scene where she was trying to help him, like teach him how to ice skate.
Oh, like
how to
role
ice skate.
reversal, like how in movies it's usually the opposite.
Yeah, like, I think that would have been cute.
Yeah, okay.
That would have been a cute like deleted
That would have
scene
been
or
cute.
something.
That would have been a really cute date.
Yeah.
So, but instead, she gets
But never
attacked,
happens. Never
and
happens for them.
He finally shows up and jumps in to try to help her.
Yeah, so she gets attacked by the guy from the bus and is struggling because obviously he takes her by surprise.
Yeah.
And Angel, like you said, shows up, is, tossling with that guy. And this is a pretty cool kill. Buffy skates up and grabs like a net, brings herself up and slits the guy's throat with her skate blade.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Ooh, yeah. Ice skating fatality. Nice. In the factory, Drew now can feel that assassin has been killed.
Yeah.
And she turns one of her cards over. And Spike doesn't seem bothered.
Yeah. And
doesn't
she's
seem
like,
bothered.
she's in bed. Like, she can't even get up at this point now, right?
Yeah, she's not doing hot.
No, she looks
sure.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah, but Spike's like, it's okay. We're getting closer to doing the book. And, obviously we
She's
know
occupied
that
now.
it's not one, it's definitely not one assassin. So he's like, on to the next. He's not worried. At the ice rink, Angel looks at the assassin's hand and sees like the symbol. And he knows that it's the Order of Taraka. And he's a little bit, he's kind of
shaken.
Yeah, and he's a little bit mean to her. I feel like he's like, just go home and wait till you hear from me.
Yeah.
I'm like, Angel has this thing where he's like, I know better than you. I know better than you. I should make your decisions for you. Angel has that tendency.
Yeah.
He's not even telling her like what's going on. Like she can't even tell Giles. Like she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And he tells her to leave, and she doesn't.
No, she's like, wait, there's a cut on your eye. Like, let's worry about that for now.
And he's in vamp face still.
Yeah.
And he's uncomfortable with her touching him in vamp face.
While he's vamp face, yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I didn't even notice. And she takes her glove off and she's touching his face and she's kissing him in vamp face.
Yeah, damn.
And Airplane Girl is watching. She sees Buffy kissing Angel in vamp face. At the library, Giles looks at the ring. So obviously Buffy took the ring and gives it to Giles. He's looking under a microscope.
That's from King Solomon?
Yeah, but the order dates back to King Solomon times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And he tells Buffy to like, basically go like and hide. And she's like, okay, you telling me to hide.
Yeah.
Angel's telling me to hide. Like she takes it personally.
Serious. Yeah,
She takes it personally. Like, oh, you think I
can't handle this.
I can't handle this. And
she's like, I almost died already. Or well, she did die already.
Yeah, yeah. But she almost dies every week. But yeah, she's like, okay, so this is like something I can't handle. Yeah. And Giles has to really tell her like the seriousness of it. That They work alone. Some of them are human, some of them are not, and they just keep coming. Like if one falls, the next one comes. Like it
They
doesn't
have
matter how many you
no
kill.
earthly desires, only bounty, and they can they can kill as many as they want, but they'll always come back.
Yeah, there'll be another one.
He even
right
gets
behind.
so irritated or whatever that he like snaps at Xander.
Xander's making jokes, which are funny jokes about bowling, a bowling league, and Giles snaps at him because he's like really like concerned.
That's enough, and it's like, damn.
Concerned, yes. So we are back at Buffy's next door neighbor's house, and this is so gross. We see the salesman guy. See worms all over the ground on his shoes. And then his arm, like, he doesn't have an arm, and it, like, is made out of worms.
It's not okay. Like, it's not okay. That scene totally creeps me.
It's gross. It is very gross. And it just continues to get gross, like, with him. And so he is watching through the window of the next door neighbor's house, Buffy's house. Like, doing surveillance on Buffy's house.
Yeah.
In the hallway, Buffy is, like, really wigged, using Buffy terminology, really wigged and suspicious.
Yeah, she's like looking around.
Sees enemies everywhere.
Yep.
Because, Giles did also say, like, you won't know who they are until they attack you. Like, there's no, like, clues or anything. And
although that first one just looked weird and creepy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would cross the street if I was walking, like alone by myself. I'd be like, let me cross the street with that guy. But, like, typically they could be anyone, anyone. So she's really, like, suspicious. And every time somebody, like, opens a door, like, loudly or makes any sudden movement, she's on edge.
Jumpy.
She's very jumpy.
She's so jumpy that Oz accidentally surprises her and she just slams him up against the wall.
Yeah, she attacks Oz and immediately is like, sorry, like, realizes that she's done bad. And he's like, an intense person. And she just, like, leaves. And then in a neighborhood, well, actually, it's in front of Buffy's house. Buffy's walking alone, and she walks past her house, but she keeps going.
Yeah, smart.
She won't go home.
Yeah.
So she ends up going to Angel's apartment. Mm-hmm. She basically breaks in.
And I feel like is this the first time we've really seen the inside to this extent?
Well, yes, to this extent, yeah.
Yeah. I know we've seen it briefly, but okay.
Yeah. I'm sure that set was nothing like it is in this scene. Like, they've built it out, I'm sure. Because remember when Darla, like, came in and he was at his apartment a few times, like, in the beginning, like, in the harvest, and Darla was there. But that was, like, he was sitting in a chair. You didn't even, like, see really anything. So this is the first time we really see the whole set.
Before she goes to Angel's, though, there's a library scene.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I skipped that.
That's okay.
In the library, Giles is still looking for what's in the stolen book. Mm-hmm. And she...
They're trying to get a hold of Buffy.
They're trying to get a hold of Buffy, find out where she went, because she just took off. Xander comes in and says she's not home.
And then, like, Giles makes some comment about, like, calling her or whatever. She's not picking up. And Xander's like, it's just statistically impossible for a 16-year-old girl to unplug the phone.
Yeah, and Willow's like, yep, it's true. Because she's like, maybe she unplugged the phone. No, she's 16. That's never going to happen. So they don't know where Buffy is, and they're concerned. So we're at what we come to know as Willie's bar. We're at Willie's for the first time. So basically... Willie, I mean, you can infer all of this, but Willie is a human that owns this bar, Willie's bar.
He knows about vampires.
Yeah, he, like, caters to, humans and non-humans alike. And he welcomes supernatural into his bar. Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Angel shows up and wants information from him, and he knows who Angel is right away. So, like, he's not a stranger to the residents of Sunnydale at all. And Angel wants information on who sent the order of Taraka against Buffy. And Willie eventually, after being roughed up and threatened by Angel, says that it was Spike. Or he's like, was it Spike? And he's like, it was Spike. So he kind of confirms that it was Spike that called the order on Buffy. And he's, getting this information out of him. And he's attacked by Airplane Girl.
No.
And they tussle around and they have a fight, and they fight into, like, the back room, and she ends up knocking him into a cage.
Like a cage, and she locks
like a storage area.
She talks about how she's going to go after his little girlfriend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So again, drawing me away from what's actually going to happen.
Yeah, and basically she's leaving him in there, and she sees that it's, like, the sun exposure is going to come. So basically she just, like, locks him up. It's like a time bomb.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Jeez,
yeah, she says, oh, the sun, she looks over and there's like a window and it's like the sun's going to shine right through into where he is. So he will be dusted. So she thinks she's like taking care of him. Like when the sun comes up, he'll be killed.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. And she like puts a padlock on the door and everything and says, yeah, I'm going to go find your girlfriend. And he's like, Angel's obviously very mad and like trying to get out.
And upset because he's worried about her.
Yeah. And he's like, oh crap. If I don't get out of here, I'm done. I'm done for if I don't get out of here.
Okay, I totally missed that.
Yeah. In the library, Giles tells Xander to go to Buffy's. And we can infer that Xander says, well, how am I supposed to get there? And he says, get Cordelia to drive you.
Yeah, I liked that.
And he goes into that was in his office. He goes into the main library area and Willow is asleep at her computer. And he like wakes her up and she says, don't warn the tadpoles. And says that she
like, what's that about? She's like, I have frog fear.
Frog fear. So Willow, new little factoid. New factoid. Willow is scared of frogs.
Oh my gosh, that should have been in the nightmare episode.
True. Yeah, like they all just started raining down on her. That would have been good.
That would have been funnier than the opera singing one.
Yeah, or both, because Buffy had more than one.
That's true.
They could have had just toads drop on her from the ceiling. So Giles thinks that he has found out what is in the book, and he tells Willow that it's a ritual to restore a weakened vampire.
Yep. And Willow's like, oh, like Drusilla?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Giles is like, exactly.
Yeah.
So they figured it out. They're putting all the pieces together.
They are. In the factory, Spike has the translation. Dalton has, with the key, he has translated it. He gives it to Spike. Drew says, there he was, right, or there it was, she's right under our noses. And she points to one of her tarot cards, and it shows a fallen angel.
Oh, I wrote fallen angel question mark. But
yeah, that's what's on the tarot card. And
so
it was right under our noses.
So angel, they're talking about angel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. At Buffy's house, Xander and Cordelia arrive. He has to essentially break in. Oh my God, this is, okay. I know this is a terrible line. Bad Xander, but I still laughed, okay? It was totally inappropriate and slut-shaming and horrible. But
what did he say?
It was funny with all that being said.
Oh my God. You
drag me out of bed for a ride. What am I, mass transportation? And Xander says, that's what a lot of the guys say, but it's just locker room talk. I wouldn't take it to mind. I wouldn't pay it any mind.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Ouch. Like, that is one of the worst Xander burns.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
Oh, she was like, oh, great, thanks. So Xander breaks into Buffy's house. Yeah. Xander breaks into Buffy's.
Somebody comes knocking at the door and they're giving out free beauty samples, so of course.
We've seen this guy before.
She loves free beauty samples.
Yeah, if there's one person that would have taken this bait quicker than anybody, it's Cordelia. So she lets this guy into Buffy's house. Mm-hmm. At Willie's, we see that the sun is getting closer to Angel. We see it like creeping over from the window.
Trying to get out.
And he's trying to get out. Yeah, so we see that things are progressing there in a not good way for Angel. At Angel's apartment, Buffy, I don't know if we said, like, she went over to his bed and fell asleep.
Curled up, yeah.
Yeah, she fell asleep and wakes up, doesn't have a good wake up.
She narrowly misses getting hit in the head by an axe.
Yes, axes the pillow, and she jumps up, and it's Airplane Girl.
And Buffy says, you must be number 2.
You must be number 2. So she's assumed another assassin has come after her.
Another bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm. So they're fighting, and this is a really good fight. I think this is a good example of how the fight scenes are getting better as the show goes on.
This was actually my favorite scene.
Mm-hmm, me too.
So they're fighting. It was getting really good, and then she's like, come on, don't make me do the chick fight thing. And then she's like, what? And then like Buffy uses her nails.
Yeah, and pulls her hair, like totally cat fights her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great fight scene. Mm-hmm. Like it's just like the fight choreography is really good. And I think like this is like a tipping point for like the fight scenes, because the fight scenes get better and better and better as the show goes on. And this is like a really good one. So I think we can see that change happening there. And Buffy says like, who the hell are you? Or she said something, and the Airplane Girl says, I'm Kendra the Vampire Slayer.
And then the end of the episode, and you are left yelling at your TV screen, what?
To be continued.
Because that's what I did. I don't know what y'all did, but man, I was just like, what is going on?
What?
And okay, so like here are some of the questions that I have. So there's supposed to be 3 bounty hunters. Briefcase guy, creepy guy who's gone now, and then her. She's not a bounty hunter, so there's another one somewhere, maybe? Yeah.
It's only part one. It's only part one.
And then, like, if she's a vampire slayer, okay, so my other question is that you're not allowed to answer. But, like, obviously we want to know where she came from, what's she doing, why is she attacking Buffy? She obviously doesn't know Buffy's a vampire slayer. Does she suspect Buffy's a vampire? I don't know. Anyway, but one of the things, so the bounty hunters are supposed to eliminate a vampire slayer. So I'm wondering if they're going to kill her to, like, because that's supposed to be the cycle or whatever, right? The bounty hunters are going to stop when they kill a vampire slayer.
So I don't think it's about it being a vampire slayer. I think they can be like hired for anyone.
Oh, interesting.
And it just happens to be that Buffy's that's who Spike wants dead. She happens to be a vampire slayer.
They're not vampires, right? These bounty hunters.
Well, he says some of them are human, some of them are not. So they're all kinds of things.
I
These are
missed
just people that join this order, so they can be.
Okay.
Yeah, they can be a human. So they could be a worm man. They could be a vampire. They could be some other demon or whatever. They could be all kinds of
because the creepy guy, he got dusted, right? He was a vampire.
She just slit his throat, and he just fell on the ice, and he was there. Yeah, so I think he was human.
Okay.
We never saw.
Okay.
He was just on the ice dead, and we never saw anything happen. So I'm assuming he was human.
So many questions, but okay.
Right. Yeah, I don't think the order specifically has anything to do with killing a vampire slayer. Okay. She just happened to be the target.
Okay.
And the other questions, I can't answer yet. Next week. You'll get a lot next week. Yeah, so that's the end of the episode. To be continued.
So is the next episode 10, or is it episode 9.2?
It's 10. Okay. And it's What's My Line part 2.
Part 2, okay.
Yeah, it's called part 2, yeah.
Okay.
So we get the way they like the naming convention of this, so we get What's My Line part 1, What's My Line part 2. I think the only two other ones that we get are Becoming part 1, Becoming part 2, which is the season finale of this season. And then we get Bargaining part 1, Bargaining part 2, which is the opening episodes of season 6. So the only part 1 and part 2s we get.
Two-parter at the end of this season then? Is it like the last 2 episodes of this season, or is it like 1 episode this season, 1 episode next season?
The last 2 of this season.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's a 2-part finale.
Okay, I don't like cliffhanger in betweens.
Yeah, they don't like. I think we've talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, you said they don't really do that, which is nice.
This season has it could be. It's left a little bit open ended, but like the show could have ended at season 2, and you would have felt like it wasn't like totally open.
Okay. Yeah.
And I feel like the only one is like the end of season 6. I feel like it's the only like real like cliffhanger, I would say, in my opinion.
Okay.
But you get cliffhangers in the middle, which is fine because you don't have to wait a week.
Yeah.
Even like when you were watching it, like when you're watching it live, like you only had to wait a week instead of 3 months, which is like not kind.
Yeah, that's pretty evil.
Do you watch the worst ever? And like they got criticized for this so bad. Did you ever watch The Walking Dead?
No, actually I didn't.
Okay, well there's a season finale where this character named Negan comes in, and he's like notorious. It's a comic. It's from the comics books. It's comic. Okay. It's a comic originally.
Okay.
And they adapted it from the comic books. And there's a very notorious character that comes onto the show finally, and people were waiting, and they're so excited, and like the casting was a big deal, and like he's very like important in the comics. And he kills some of the main characters, and they're all kind of like on their knees. He has them like all on his knees, and he has this like baseball bat. It's called Name Lucille, and it has like all these like stuff sticking out of it, like nails and stuff on the end. Okay. And he is deciding who to kill, to beat to death with this Lucille.
Oh my god, that sounds terrible.
And it's like going to every person, and it's like every shot is like a different person's face, and they're all on their knees. And that was the end of the episode until the next season.
Huh.
And we didn't find out who got killed until the season premiere.
That show's done now, right?
It just finished recently.
Oh,
It was
really?
on forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Not the whole thing. I stopped after like 7 years.
Oh wow, that's all. Okay.
Something. Yeah. It just got like.
It got ridiculous.
Yeah. And my aunt is the biggest like Walking Dead fan, like obsessed with that show, and she didn't even finish watching it. Like, and she was like, it could do no wrong in her eyes, and she actually got off of it. Okay. I just got too. It's one of those shows that just go on too long. And it ruins itself, kind of. Okay. Anyway, that made me think of like the cliffhanger, like the worst one. I couldn't believe it. All right, so so that's the cliffhanger for today.
Okay.
Is Kendra the Vampire Slayer?
Damn.
What?
Okay, so we kind of went over our favorite scenes and lines, but do you want to go over them again?
So my favorite quote was when Giles says, "You'd be amazed at how numbingly pompous and long-winded some of these watchers were." And Buffy says, "Color me stunned."
That was pretty cute.
I love it. And then my favorite scene was the last fight scene. Like the very last scene with Buffy and Kendra fighting.
Chick fight.
Yeah, I talked before about, like, it's a great fight scene. Like, the quality is higher than we've seen before, and it thankfully it keeps going. It keeps like elevating like how good the fight scenes are. So it was a great fight scene, and obviously the cliffhanger at the end.
Yep.
Is good.
Okay. Yeah, so that was my favorite scene as well, for all the things you already said. Don't have anything to add to that. And my favorite line is when Giles is talking about the cross that's used to understand mythical texts and decipher hidden meanings, and Buffy says, "So you're saying these vampires went to all this hassle for your basic decoder ring?" So I thought that was funny.
I think Giles was like, yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, you're right. So my stake rating, I gave it a 4.6.
Ooh, that's a pretty good rating.
And again, the fight scenes, the good fight scenes, that last one especially, that's what I said I wrote. Great cliffhanger. I'm very, like, shocking to people. Like, I know the whole plot, but I couldn't remember exactly when it cut between the two episodes. So I was like, oh, man. Like, I was like, oh, my God. I was even, like, shocked. Like, I forgot that they had, like, ended it right there. So that was great. There was a lot of, like, good Spike and Drew. Like, a lot of good Spike and Drew
that's
stuff.
true.
Like, I liked their plot line with, like, the book and, like, trying to decipher it and everything. I thought that was entertaining. Buffy's struggles with her future, or like being the Slayer and all that, it weighs heavily on her in this episode. That's not hidden. Like, that's very much in your face in the episode. So I thought that was good to, like, come back around to that, because this episode's all about your future, right? And she doesn't feel like she even has one, dead or alive. She doesn't feel like she has one. And then I said, cool villains, because that worm guy, he's gross. But he's actually pretty cool. I thought he was pretty unique. Yeah. The other guy was. I think I would have been nice if they had done a little bit more with the first guy.
The creepy guy, yeah.
Yeah,
the
like the
different creepy guy.
Yeah, the bus guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
he got killed pretty easily, considering they're supposed to be like these crazy assassins, but whatevs. So
yeah, I thought that worm guy was pretty cool and inventive. Yeah. And cast really well. Because he even looks creepy anyway, like, without being made of worms. He's kind of like something about him. Yeah, you know what I mean?
He's cringy looking.
Yeah, he's just like, ooh, I don't know, something about him. So that was good casting and good acting for that guy, because he definitely made me feel like something wasn't right with him. Yeah. You know, before he turned into worms. So
yeah.
So yeah. So 4.6.
I actually gave it a 4.8, and I was trying to go through. I know I was trying to go through my previous notes. I think this is actually my highest rated episode. So yeah, I really liked it. I liked the bounty hunter introduction was really interesting. The stuff between Drusilla and Spike. Because I don't think I realized before this episode that Drusilla was sick, or that she needed a cure, or so they delved into that more, which I thought was good. The Buffy and Angel stuff was really great. I liked seeing Angel's apartment. It looked like the inside of a museum. I thought that was, so just seeing more into Angel's life, basically.
Yeah, he's got a knack. He's got a knack. It was nice.
Yeah, it was actually. Not what I was expecting. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but yeah.
Well, I will tell you, like, even like going forward, when we see like where vampires usually live, it doesn't look like that. So Angel has got he's got a nice taste for where he lives and how he decorates.
Yeah. And then, just Buffy's trying to come to terms with herself and what she's going to be doing in the future. So, yeah, that's hard. Yeah. So, 4.8.
Nice. Okay, this landed well, this episode.
Yeah, anything that makes me scream at the TV is going to be a good rating.
It's true. Even if it's like you hate it, like, but it's still elicited like the feeling.
Reaction.
Like, the visceral reaction, like, it got to you. Yeah, that's great. All right, so your question for What's My Line Part 2 is Buffy gets jealous of how well two other characters are getting along. Who are they?
I'm writing it down.
Okay.
I always write down your questions, so then when we talk, I'm like, or when I watch the episode later, I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I allowed to ask a question? You don't have to answer, obviously. But,
sure.
Are they characters that we already all know?
They've both been introduced.
Yeah, okay.
It's two other characters, so.
Yeah, no, I know.
Nobody brand new. No.
I feel like she wouldn't get jealous of anybody other than Angel, but like part of me wants to say Cordelia and Xander.
Okay.
But it could also, I'm guessing Angel and somebody, but Angel and who? I don't know. I just don't see her getting jealous over anybody else. She's not going to get jealous over Giles. I don't think she'd get jealous over Willow and, I don't know, Oz, I guess.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit of like a broadening thing. It doesn't have to be like romantic jealousy. You can be jealous without it being like romantic.
Maybe it could be Willow and Oz then, just because like that's her friend. And maybe I'm assuming Willow and Oz are going to start something at some point soon.
I mean, I see I see that because, you could also go for the thought like, oh, like my friend's going to have this normal, nice relationship with this guy.
Mm-hmm. Or also just like, I don't know, in high school when friends started dating dudes, they just don't spend as much time with you.
True.
It's just like that kind of thing. Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. There are some of my guesses. I don't know.
We'll go with Willow and Oz.
Okay, let's go with Willow and Oz.
Okay. I'm excited to see more Oz.
Okay.
Always happy to see Oz. The most least toxic man on this entire series.
Yeah, they all kind of suck.
He's great. Like he just is a good guy.
Well,
I know I'm not going to say he never has any problematic moments because I don't remember exactly.
He seems secure in himself, which is part of the thing.
But
when
overall,
you feel insecure, you bring out these crappy things. Yeah,
but overall, he is like the best like guy on the show.
Yeah.
He has the least problematic moments. So, all right. So that wraps up season 2, episode 9, What's My Line, part 1. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl in All the World Pod. And you can email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. And please leave a 5-star review wherever you listen. That would be nice. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with season 2, episode 10, What's My Line, part 2. See you real soon.
Bye.